What's up everybody, I'm David and welcome to WhatGear. Now, if you're wondering what's happened to Troy, well, he is actually locked up in my basement, and if you ever want to see that guy again, I suggest you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell right now, otherwise it's finished. It's over. You won't see him again, and all you will get every time you look at WhatGear is my face screaming and shouting at you, so do it right now. Have you done that now? That's fantastic, because the truth is, WhatGear are growing, and it is thanks to you guys. Troy has so many products to review that he sent some my way, so over the next few weeks, expect to see myself as well as Troy bringing you some of the best tech reviews on the internet.
What the f?
And we're going to start off with this, the Vivo X51 5G. It's a great phone. It's got a gimbal. There's a gimbal in there. You can't see it because I've got a GH5 and it never focuses on what you want it to focus on, but it is there. There's a quadruple camera system, a 5x periscope zoom with an up to 60 times max digital zoom, and that main camera has what they call gimbal OIS. There's in-body image stabilization built into the lens. It also has a super moon mode, which gives you great shots of the full moon, or of any moon really, or of any bright object that has a little bit of detail on it. So with this video, I'm just gonna kind of freestyle, which isn't my usual style. Usually I take a whole day to write a video and then another half a day to bloody make the video and all of that shit. But this time I figured I'm just going to tell you it as it is, my experiences with the Vivo X51 5G. I've been using it pretty solidly for almost a week now, so not really too long, but long enough to understand some of the quirks and the bells and the whistles that it has. So I'm going to explain some of those to you right now. So first off, it has probably one of the smallest hole punches you will find. I don't think it's as small as what you find on the Samsungs right now, but I think it's something like 3.9 millimeters or something like that. So it's got a single hole punch front facing camera, which is very unobtrusive. Beautiful screen, an OLED, or is it AMOLED, Super AMOLED? What's the difference? No difference at all. Super AMOLED is just what Samsung call it. Everybody else in the world calls it OLED. It's an OLED screen. Either way, it's a beautiful screen. It's not too big though. I kind of wish a phone this well spec'd, I want it to be a little bit bigger. I want that screen to be a little bit bigger. I find myself, when I want to watch something on my phone, zooming in all the time as much as I can, and then even sometimes switching to another phone because the screen's just a little bit too small. But it does the job. I mean, I say it's small, but it is beautifully formed. There's an under display fingerprint scanner. It does work very well, and if you ask me, it works a little bit better than the Samsung ones. But moving on from that, it does the phone itself, it kind of reminds me of a Huawei P40 Pro. It does have that same kind of style, that kind of vibe going on. The arrangement of the camera lenses is a little bit strange. You've got one at the top, two in the middle, and then there's the square periscope zoom at the bottom. But I mean, it's a beautiful phone. It's a really pretty phone. I mean, you've got some nice details across the top. It's got 5G professional photography in sort of rainbow colored writing across the top. Altogether, it's not a bad looking phone at all. I mean, what else can I say about it apart from it's 750 quid and it's not a bad looking phone? That's all I gotta say about it. What else do you want to know? What else do you want to know? It's £750. It looks good. It's got a great camera. It's got a great screen. Sound is where it's kind of let down a bit. There's only a single down-firing speaker. I like my phones to have good sound, so I'm a little bit annoyed that it doesn't have stereo sound, but at the end of the day, it's not a complete deal breaker for most people. Might be for me a little bit, but not for most people. It does have a curved screen, which I'm starting to go off a little bit, I think. I mean, it's nice if they could, when they do these high spec phones, it'd be great if they could also offer a flat screen, because a lot of people don't want the curved screen. Yet when the curved screen first came in, it was, wow, look, the screen's curved, but like every screen's curved now, so it really isn't a big deal. So I would have liked if they'd put a flat screen on this, like they did with the Y70. The Y70 is much cheaper than the X51 5G, but it feels very, very similar. It's a very similar size, has a similar screen, although it's not as stunning as that one, but it's flat and it gives a better hand feel, if you ask me. So it runs on FunTouch OS, which has got to be the best named operating system ever. I mean, FunTouch OS. Who doesn't want a bit of FunTouch OS? I know I bloody do. And it's actually a very good operating system. I've noticed one bug in it though, a really strange bug. Any word that's displayed on the screen, it doesn't matter what app you're in, it doesn't matter where you are, any word that has an apostrophe and then a letter afterwards is always it has the apostrophe and then a big space and then the S afterwards. It's a weird little quirk. It does it with absolutely every instance that you will find a word with an apostrophe on it. But other than that, that's really the only kind of bug I can find, and really that will be fixed in the next. I mean, if they don't fix that in the next update, then they're crazy. They must know it's there. But other than that, I kind of like FunTouch OS. I mean, trying to find some of the options sometimes can be a little bit fun, a bit hard, but you get used to those kinds of things. But there's a lot of customization, and I think that's why I like it. This phone's running on the Snapdragon 765G. It's just come out from Qualcomm, and speed-wise, it's fine. There's no problems with its speed. You can tell it's not quite as snappy as the top-end ones, but it's fine. It's just it's fast enough, and it carries 5G modem as well, which is great. I've just upgraded my O2 SIM to 5G, and it seems to be working well. I'm getting 5G even when I'm inside my house, so that's good news. But when it comes to the camera, this is where the X51 5G really does shine. I mean, I am really impressed with this camera, not just because it has that gimbal. I mean, that's just stabilization, big deal. But it's not just that. There's the color science is right. It competes with the big boys. It competes with the very best out there. You have the night mode is actually one of the best night modes I've seen. It gives the most natural results rather than just making everything look super bright when it's the middle of the night. You know, it really does it quite subtly, and I really like the results I'm getting from that. Up to 60 times digital zoom. Well, we all know that once you get to 60 times max zoom on a smartphone, you're just basically taking a photo of a blur, and it's not really that much different. I mean, if you absolutely need to get that long shot, then yeah, use the 60 times. Other than that, if you want to use it for anything else other than saying, look, this thing was there 10 miles away, then you're not really going to find it very useful. But it's great to have it anyway. Portrait mode is what I love about this phone though. The portrait mode is fantastic. I'm finding it hard to take a bad shot in the portrait mode because it uses a proper portrait focal length of 50mm. That combined with the I think it's an f1.6 aperture lens, it gives it great portrait shots. But if you are going to buy this phone, one thing that you should be aware of is that this lovely matte finish on the back is actually quite delicate, and I found it quite easy to scratch. I don't know if you can see that in those photos. Also, it's kind of hard to get the kind of fingerprints out. Although it does hide fingerprints fairly well, it's quite hard to get them out when you're trying to give it a clean. So let's dive into the specs a little bit more. The X51 5G has a 6.6-inch AMOLED display and a 90Hz refresh rate for a smooth experience, and it is a decent quality panel as well, with a fast enough response rate to keep up with the higher than average frequency and avoid ghosting. This is not always the case, and you do find it sometimes, especially on the cheaper models, but it's really not a cheap phone, so I'm glad that there's no sign of it here. There's a 4,315 mAh battery that powers the handset, and although this might not be as large as some of the other 5G enabled phones, the Snapdragon 765G is far less power hungry, and as a result the battery life is very good with this phone. Even with 90Hz enabled and with 5G, I still have at least 20% battery life at the end of the day, so that's pretty good. A bit more detail on the camera, it's a 48 megapixel quad system. The main is the 48 megapixel, the ultra wide and the periscope cameras have 8 megapixels, and the portrait camera that I really like is a 13 megapixel unit with a 2x optical zoom. The selfie camera is a 32 megapixel unit with 4:1 quad BTEKT. As good as this camera system is, the front camera can only manage 1080p resolution, and from the preview at least, it doesn't seem to have very good dynamic range, so camera system is let down a little bit by its front camera, but I have noticed that you do get quite good quality recorded sound. Baby, there's nothing wrong with me loving you. But most importantly, this camera inspires you to use it by constantly giving you great results with minimal effort. Now, to me, that is a sign of a good camera. When shooting photos and video with this phone, you should be aware, and it is kind of obvious, that the gimbal only works with the main sensor. So when you switch to the wide angle camera, when shooting video for example, you'll notice that it's not quite as smooth as it is with the main camera. And this is unusual because it is easier to stabilize a wide angle camera than one with a more narrow field of view. That kind of goes to show how good the gimbal stabilization is. I wanted to give the X51 5G the best possible chance with its 60x lens, so I've mounted it on a tripod and I found that I get good results up to around 30 times, but then soon after that things start to fall apart pretty drastically, and by 60 times it's no better or no worse than competing phones with the super long zooms. When it comes to gaming, the Snapdragon 765G obviously benefits from the 5G connection speed, but it also is optimized for gaming performance, and that shows with the comprehensive set of gaming modes that you'll find in the Vivo X51 with its ultra gaming mode. Here you have esports mode, which adjusts the settings to give you minimum disturbances, optimized control through disabling the 3-finger on-screen capture and things like that, improved visual effects and adaptive frame rate and temperature control. There's also eagle eye view enhancement, which brings features like local tone mapping, color enhancement, memory color prediction, and detail sharpening. And that was the X51 5G from Vivo. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then hit the subscribe button and the like button. And if you do that, then you might see Troy in the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you next time.